All in favor?
Thank
All right.
you.
So we talked a little bit about questions for the recreation facility survey. Have that wrapped up? Does administration know what we want to do, or any other discussion? Mayor?
Maybe, why don't you poll the group to figure out how many are okay with the 3 questions that are there, and adding a proper preamble to those questions?
You mean the 4 that are there now? Is that what you're saying?
No. The 3,
Oh, 1, 2, and 3?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with it.
Okay. Anybody in favor of all the 3?
Okay.
Okay.
So,
And not in favor? So there's 4 to 3.
so that was your committee that brought them forward,
Correct?
and at the committee, you expressed that you were not okay with those?
Yep.
And so what exactly did you want to see? Because they
the-
have to be representative, properly representative
Of the committee?
of what we want to do for the community to get the opinion of people.
Correct. So your question to me is, I don't understand what your question is.
Why don't you feel comfortable with those questions from?
Because I didn't like number 3. I didn't like the way number 3 was. I like number 1. I like number 2. I actually liked when Councillor Court tweaked them. I liked how he tweaked number 1 and number 2. And number 3, just because I didn't like it, some of the rest of them did, and so that's okay. I wrote it down. That was the request. So these are the 3 that they suggested. I personally like the number 1 and number 2 that Councillor Court had come up with.
So Councillor Court was exactly.
Do you support the idea of a recreation center if taxes are not increased? And number 2, I put, if there's a recreation center in town, would your household support it with user fee to offset the operating costs?
That's what I liked.
Yeah.
That's good.
Those 2.
Okay. The problem is with tax. For example, if you were to tell me, well, it's going to be 1 to 3%, I would say, yeah, I could bear that. But if it's 10%, I would say, no.
But we've discussed this already, that we said we were building without a tax increase, and that it may down the road, we might need something for operating. But I don't want to muddy the waters by saying, well, there might be a tax increase, maybe, when we already said there won't be a tax increase. $1 million that came out of surplus or whatever we've done with it, that's it. That's why I don't want to throw taxes in there to muddy the water, because we've already come to that conclusion. And I understand what you were saying about operating costs, and I think I addressed that in number 2. The user fee would offset the operating costs.
Jeff?
I've always viewed the tax increase question referring to operating. That's always how I've interpreted it, because again, I don't know, I don't mean to be pessimistic on this, but I don't think there's a chance this thing breaks even. And I feel that it's probably, I would bet it costs us at least a couple $100,000 a year to run. That just seems to be what we see out there, and I'm sure they're being run by competent people. And so our numbers are still really preliminary because we don't know what the revenue sources look like, and we don't know any of that, right? So I've always assumed it was operating. I agree with you. I think you can accommodate the capital. That's fine with me too. So maybe that needs to be clearer if there's a question at all.
Well, to me, number 3 just muddies the water, because anybody I've heard about complaining about is, oh, a huge tax increase. Well, that's not what I've been telling them. That's not what we talked about. We talked about $1 million from surplus and from what we've got.
That's capital.
So why are we all of a sudden say you might get a 7 to 10% tax increase? To me, it's just defeating it right off the bat.
Councillor Barnes?
Okay, I'm not certain if that's the case, because, I mean, personally, I'm prepared to pay a little bit more. I don't
You
like
are.
the 10%. But a lot of people have called me asking me about, well, what's it gonna cost us? And so, but somehow, if we do go with that number 3, we've got to incorporate some idea of cost and eliminate a whole bunch of this other stuff. We need to kind of zero in on what it might cost, if these are the implications of of what it costs every year to run, like the pool and stuff. Obviously, the swimming pool, the ice center, and the ballparks, they don't make money, but they are factored in our taxes, right? So that they're covered. And the same thing has to be with this. I don't think you can withhold that kind of information from the public. So I think you need to say, well, these are what it costs to run these facilities, this is what it may cost, and it will cost you this much money. Are you in favor of that? I don't know, that's my take on it. But I'm only one.
Are you good to go? Okay, go ahead.
Can I, hang on, let me finish part of the question. I want to make a statement. To say that this isn't tax money is bogus. This is tax money we're spending, regardless of where it comes from. That's where this money came from in the first place. And there's no way you can skirt around that issue. It is tax money. We didn't go out and fundraise for it. It's taxes. And I don't have a problem with this tax money being spent for this. I really don't, but that's the reality. So to say that it's not tax supported, it is.
I never did say it wasn't tax support, I just said we were not raising taxes to build it.
No, but we
Everybody
already
knows it's
have
ta-
raised the taxes
Everybody
to
knows
get
it's
the money
tax
there.
supported.
That's all I'm saying.
Councillor Brown and then
Okay, so-
Councillor.
Okay. So, in the essence of time, that's just so fun, sorry. In the essence of time, are we in favor of number 1, Councillor Court, the way he's written it? Are we in favor? Read it again for me, please.
Amendment, like.
While
You
swallowing.
support the idea of a recreation center if taxes are not increased.
So, would it be fair, is everyone in support of that? Could we do a straw vote on that?
No, I will talk to that question.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Okay, can I
Because,
finish?
Sure.
okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we don't support that one. Do we support number 2, the number 2, Councillor Court? Do we support the number 2?
Let me see what it was. If there was a recreation center in town, would your household support it with user fees to offset operating costs?
Do we support
fair
that
question.
one?
That's a fair question.
I'm straw voting.
Yeah.
So we can, is it reasonable to say we have one question we all agree on?
Yeah.
Okay, and then my third, and I'll wrap it up, is just, would it be fair for the third question to say, and I don't have the exact words, but something about, I mean, we already, as taxpayers in Cardston, are paying for the ice arena, the pool, all of those things that Councillor Barnes has said. So could we not say something along the lines of, are you not willing to support a rec facility? The cost? I don't know, somehow.
Taxpayer funded.
Okay, can I maybe?
Everything's taxpayer funded.
I know,
Councillor Brown,
yes.
the only thing that is missing in 3 is to stipulate what the tax increase is for. It's for operation.
Yeah.
It's not for the building. The capital is taken care of. So that increase speaks of operation.
Yeah.
That's what it speaks of. And if you take $200,000, let's say, forget the revenue. Let's say that is a deficit. You divide that by 1,500 taxpayer, it'll give you very rapidly a sense of what is going to increase taxes per in average. Okay? So 200,000 divided, I mean, if it was 2,000 taxpayer, you can see it's $100 more in tax a year,
Yeah.
right?
It's no big deal to me.
So that's about what you're looking at. So that the rest, that gap is shrunk by revenues that we get, whichever the revenue might be, it will be. But it would be fair to let the people know, not to let the people know, but to find out how much is their appetite to pay tax towards support for the operation. then we know exactly what we have to do internally to make it happen. That's all.
Councillor Selk?
It's not to have people say, "Oh, forget it, I'm not going to go there because it's going to cost me taxes." Well, if they say 0 taxes increase, I can't afford to pay more on the top of paying for user fee, well, then we're going to have to figure out what is it is going to take for the whole of the organization to make sure that the operational gap, deficit, is absorbed in the rest of the budget like the rest of the facilities.
Okay. Councillor Selk?
Okay, I'm gonna try to make 3 quick. One, I don't know if this is the time, but again, it's something to think about. The philosophical conversation about how much money we got from the county for recreation. And does that go towards new facilities, or does that just go towards existing facilities? 2, I agree with the mayor that, you know, there needs to be something in there, but it needs to be clarified that the taxes for the operation of the rec center, the tax increase will not go, and somehow we gotta clarify that so it's crystal clear. Because as soon as you say tax increase, everybody's thinking, you're building a $1 zillion facility, my taxes are gonna go up $1 zillion. So it has to be very crystal clear if there's a tax increase, that it's for a proportionate amount of the operational costs. And by that, I mean Jeff and his team have come up with a portion of the money for that. So therefore, that also reduces the amount of the operational costs for the taxpayer to bear. And 3, I'm gonna go back to my original think outside the box, and let's just let's increase the sewer rates for a certain portion of the users of that facility. And that money goes towards, because that's the only way you're gonna get money out of some of the users.
So Jeff,
Trying to be politically correct, Mayor.
can we leave that with administration to you kind of know the direction that we want to go? Is that okay? Or is everybody comfortable with that, or?
I mean,
Jeff's looking at this like, I still have no idea what you guys want.
You're Hawking to do his magic.
Well, it's not
It's
a
not
financial
hawking.
question, it's,
No, it's wordsmithing.
sorry, I have some fries that I was munching here. I think we've had some feedback to doctor these a little bit more. As long as you're not expecting that next time it's solid gold, but it's closer than where we were. Some of the comments, just from, again, from my point of view, are good and give us some direction. Some questions, we want to make sure that they're able to be, like, they're not leaving someone hanging, right? So we'll work through that a little bit, but yes, we can certainly come back with a different draft a week from tonight.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Great, that would be wonderful. So
It's around the Tylenol with that.
I'm making a motion to extend till 8:30.
all in favor?
I can see the clock from here.
Yeah, I didn't. So can we move on to RCMP questions and answer video?
Can I suggest that we all submit some of the question? We all had some idea last time. Some of us did the work with the RCMP. Why don't we submit those questions to Jeff, and from there on maybe develop that list? I really don't think at this time there is enough stuff. I had some ideas that I would like to see developed. So
I haven't had a chance to walk with them. It won't be till the new year, till COVID slows down.
Yeah,
yeah,
me
totally
too.
understood.
That, so.
Councillor Selk.
You know, can I
That's
just
what they
say
came
that
back
having
to.
reviewed the questions that were put forward by the citizenry, this is an opportune time for us to tell Mr. Motts to get over here, because we need to talk to you about some things.
Yeah, well, there is some of that too. So would it be fair that we defer it to next council?
Sure, yeah, that's
Thank
fine.
you.
Okay, thank you.
and make an appointment with Mr. Motts to come and visit.
So just under correspondence, Tanya Thorne, did everybody read that? Got
Yeah.
that figured out?
Long document?
Long document?
She does a thorough.
And then,
You want to pass our thank you to Tanya?
She didn't include me in the people that are participating in
Uh,
the committee, so
I
I'm not
noticed-
talking to her anymore.
Well, I noticed that, and I wanted to know what has changed.
We've gone further in that, yeah, we know that.
Zinga.
Oh,
Okay.
Ouch.
Councillor, you
The
have
words of
been,
Bugs Bunny. Them's fighting words.
Councillor, you had been there, those are the new one, but you were in a batch before that, weren't you?
Yep.
So we already approve and thank you for your services. Trust me, I appreciate you being there.
Nice stick handling, man.
Of course.
and the last correspondence from Barry Morishita, there's a meeting Thursday.
Thursday, 6 o'clock or some, 5:30 around there. It's around, regarding,
Thursday or Wednesday?
Thursday.
It's Thursday, right? Yeah,
and
okay.
Third, so Thursday,
Yeah.
yes.
it's regarding the budget and the good news.
Councillor, if I could just
Yeah.
mention, some of you have mentioned interest in that this doesn't let you click on the register button and it doesn't hyperlink. You should have all got it. So I'll forward it out in the morning just in case again, because it was addressed to the mayors and councillors and CAOs, so you should have it.
Okay.
But if you don't, I'll send it out one more time, just if you want to click, just, you can do it from home and check it out, if you're interested in it.
Christmas time.
Okay, that's
I'll be talking with her on Friday. 'cause
portion of our meeting. Yeah, go.
Motion
I'll
to
be
go
in
in
Lethbridge
close.
for a meeting that
Session.
day, so.
Okay, all in favor of that motion to go into closed session? Thank you. Thanks to media for putting up with us.
Sorry.
I knew when you said it was a short, but I said, no, I'm looking what's on there, it's not gonna be short.
I was like,
Just saw what was on here, I knew
Don't
none.
say anything.
You're like a book, man.
You're right, the agenda looks short.
I don't know if we're gonna have anything to talk about.
Get old.